start with a moment from the summer of 2023. Spain's women's national team had just achieved the greatest success in its history, winning the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and becoming world champions for the very first time. It should have been a period of pure celebration. Instead, within days of lifting the trophy, 23 of the players who helped secure that historic victory sent a letter to the Spanish Football Federation. Their message was clear. They would not play for the national team again until major reforms were implemented. This was not a heated press conference or a strongly worded public statement. It was something far more significant, a collective refusal, a boycott. At the height of one of Spanish football's proudest moments, the players drew a line and effectively said, "Not until things change." And remarkably, it worked. The Spanish Football Federation committed to structural reforms, and the players eventually returned. The boycott lasted less than a month, but its impact was profound. It demonstrated something important about Spanish football and its willingness to make difficult decisions when circumstances demand it. Spain has shown that it is prepared to embrace uncomfortable choices, even when the stakes are at their highest. That history matters today because Spain's name unexpectedly surfaced in boycott discussions ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This was not a repeat of the player-led action seen in 2023, but the conversation gained enough attention and involved voices influential enough to become part of the national debate. So, let's address the question directly. Will Spain refuse to play in the 2026 World Cup? As of today, May 29th, the answer is no. Spain's squad was officially confirmed on Monday, May 25th. 26 players have been selected, with Luis de la Fuente leading the team to North America. La Roja going to the World Cup, and that decision appears settled. However, the story of how the boycott question emerged, what it was truly about, and the extraordinary squad now preparing for the tournament is worth exploring. It reveals both the complexity surrounding this World Cup and the remarkable generation of Spanish footballers who could make the tournament their own. In essence, he argued that if no meaningful action was taken against Israel, then the possibility of a boycott should be considered at the appropriate time. He explained that his party was encouraging sporting organizations to take a stance similar to the one adopted against Russia following the events of 2022. However, it is important to understand exactly what was happening. He was not speaking on behalf of the Spanish Football Federation, nor was he issuing a formal demand. Instead, he was testing public opinion and raising a political question. The Federation's response was silence, which in many ways served as an answer of its own. A second wave of discussion emerged in January 2026 amid broader debates across European football regarding the conditions surrounding the tournament. Spain's name was mentioned alongside Germany, France, the Netherlands, and several other nations whose football associations were being asked whether they were considering any position on the wider issues connected to the World Cup. The Spanish Football Federation's response, reported through sources close to the organization, was unequivocal. There had been no discussion of a boycott, internally, at executive level, or anywhere within the Federation's structure. The conversations simply did not exist. That distinction matters. There is a significant difference between political figures suggesting Spain should consider a boycott and Spain's football authorities actually considering one. In Spain's case, the former occurred, the latter did not. As far as the Federation was concerned, the matter was settled. Spain would participate in the 2026 World Cup. With that question answered, attention shifted to something far more exciting, the squad itself. When Luis de la Fuente announced his final 26-man squad on May 25, he wasn't just confirming Spain's participation. He was presenting what many believe could be the nation's best opportunity to reclaim football's biggest prize. Spain's last World Cup triumph came in South Africa in 2010. Andrés Iniesta's iconic extra-time winner against the Netherlands remains one of the defining moments in football history. That legendary generation, built around the tiki-taka philosophy perfected at Barcelona, dominated international football by winning a World Cup and 2 European Championships in a 4-year span. Since then, Spain's World Cup record has been disappointing. They exited in the group stage in 2014, were eliminated by Russia in the round of 16 in 2018, and suffered a penalty shootout defeat against Morocco in Qatar in 2022. 3 consecutive tournaments ended before the quarter-finals. Then came Lamine Yamal. At just 18 years old, Yamal has become one of the most exciting talents in world football. Born on June 13, 2007, he is famously the baby featured in a charity photograph alongside Lionel Messi at a hospital in Barcelona. After Yamal's rise to global prominence, the image went viral and became one of football's most remarkable coincidences. The child once cradled by Messi grew into one of the world's elite wingers before even reaching voting age. For many supporters, he represents the symbol of a new Spanish generation, one capable of returning La Roja to the summit of world football. At Euro 2024, Lamine Yamal announced himself to the world in spectacular fashion. Already regarded as one of football's brightest prospects, he became the youngest player ever to appear at a European Championship and proceeded to justify every ounce of the hype surrounding him. Records fell wherever he went. His performances electrified the tournament, but it was his stunning goal against France in the semi-final that truly captured global attention. By the end of the competition, there was widespread agreement among football analysts, former players, and supporters alike. No young player had arrived on a major international stage with such impact since Cristiano Ronaldo at Euro 2004. More importantly, Spain won the tournament. This was not a team living in the shadow of the legendary tiki-taka generation. It was Spain's youngest squad in decades, a side built on speed, creativity, technical excellence, and direct attacking football. They defeated England in the final and lifted the trophy playing a style that was distinctly their own. The success signaled the beginning of a new era. Now, Spain arrives at the 2026 World Cup with expectations as high as any nation in the tournament. Yet one question hangs over the entire campaign: the fitness of Lamine Yamal. The Barcelona winger suffered a hamstring injury during the club's final domestic fixture of the season. Early medical assessments were cautious, creating concern throughout Spanish football. Nevertheless, head coach Luis de la Fuente included him in the final 26-man squad and has remained unwavering in his confidence. Publicly, de la Fuente has repeated the same message: Yamal will be ready. He has described the World Cup as a defining moment in the young star's career and hinted that certain players may build fitness during the early stages of the tournament before becoming decisive figures in the knockout rounds. The message was clear. Spain expects Yamal to grow into the competition rather than begin it at full intensity. The draw appears to support that strategy. Spain's group presents a manageable path through the opening phase, allowing key players to be carefully managed while the squad builds momentum. The final group match, however, is expected to provide the first genuine measure of Spain's championship credentials. By then, the expectation inside the camp is that both Yamal and Mikel Merino, who has also dealt with fitness concerns, will be fully available. Around them, de la Fuente has assembled one of the strongest and most technically gifted Spanish squads since the 2010 World Cup winning generation. One of the most emotional stories belongs to Gavi. The Barcelona midfielder endured a devastating injury setback that robbed him of valuable international opportunities and cast uncertainty over his future. His rehabilitation was long and difficult, marked by setbacks and moments of doubt. Yet he fought his way back. At just 22 years old, he now receives a second chance on football's biggest stage. For many Spanish supporters, his inclusion is one of the most inspiring stories of the tournament. Then there is Rodri. The Manchester City midfielder, widely regarded as one of the most complete players in world football, remains the heartbeat of Spain's system. His intelligence, composure, and ability to control matches make him indispensable. Alongside him are Pedri, Fabian Ruiz, and Martin Zubimendi, midfielders whose technical quality gives Spain an extraordinary level of depth and flexibility. When fully fit, Spain's midfield may be the strongest at the World Cup. Yet perhaps the biggest surprise in de la Fuente's squad announcement was not who was included, but who was missing. For the first time in modern memory, not a single Real Madrid player made Spain's World Cup squad. The omission immediately dominated headlines across Spanish football. Questions flooded in. Was it controversial? Was it political? Was it symbolic? De la Fuente's answer was simple and unapologetic. Selection was based on form, performance, and contribution. In his view, Real Madrid's Spanish internationals had not produced a season strong enough to earn inclusion. Whether supporters agree or disagree, The decision reflects a manager willing to make difficult choices in pursuit of what he believes gives Spain the best chance of becoming world champions once again. This squad reflects form, fitness, and performance, not reputation, history, or club allegiance. That message has been at the heart of Luis de la Fuente's selection process from the beginning. This is not the Spain of 2010, when the national team and the core of Barcelona's golden generation were almost one and the same. This is a different era, a different team, and a different path to success. During the group stage, Spain will be based in Chattanooga, Tennessee, a deliberately chosen location far removed from the media spotlight and distractions that come with cities such as New York or Los Angeles. The decision reflects de la Fuente's philosophy. He is not a manager who seeks headlines or controversy. Instead, he builds environments. He values stability, trust, preparation, and collective belief. Throughout his tenure, he has consistently focused on creating a calm atmosphere where players can perform at their best. And now comes the biggest question of all. What does Spain's World Cup campaign actually look like from here? The honest answer is that it depends heavily on Lamine Yamal. A fully fit Yamal, the player who dazzled Europe at Euro 2024, who can eliminate defenders on either side, and who brings a level of unpredictability few footballers possess, transforms Spain from a very good team into a genuine World Cup contender. Even at 70 or 80% fitness, he remains a threat. But a carefully managed Yamal, arriving fresh and decisive for the knockout rounds, could become one of the defining players of the entire tournament. The concern, of course, is his hamstring injury. Hamstring problems are among the most frustrating injuries in football. They can return unexpectedly. They can affect confidence. And they can subtly limit a player's willingness to accelerate at maximum speed, even after medical clearance. For a player whose greatest strength is explosive movement and direct attacking play, that uncertainty cannot be ignored. Yet de la Fuente's confidence appears genuine rather than performative. He knows this group. He has worked with them for years and understands their potential better than anyone. When you look at the squad, Yamal, Nico Williams, Gavi's remarkable return, Rodri controlling the midfield, Pedri creating chances, and Pau Cubarsí defending with a composure that seems impossible for someone so young, you see a collection of talent capable of achieving something special. The boycott debate surfaced. It was discussed. And ultimately, it was resolved. Spain are going to the World Cup. They will take the field in Atlanta carrying the hopes of a nation that has waited 16 years to lift football's greatest trophy again. Whether this generation can match the achievements of 2010 remains to be seen, but there is no doubt they possess the talent to try. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you believe this is the generation that ends Spain's long wait for another World Cup title? Or does the uncertainty surrounding Yamal's fitness change your expectations entirely? And if you remember Andres Iniesta's iconic winner in South Africa, does this team give you the same feeling of possibility, even though it plays a very different style of football? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one of them, and these discussions are what make football so fascinating. If you enjoyed this analysis, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more coverage throughout the tournament. From the opening match to the final whistle, we'll be following every twist and turn of the 2020